In this video, I will show you how you can export your designs from TaniqWind Pro to HyperWorks. For this video, I will be using the shown pressure vessel design, which has 4 helical and 4 hoop layers. In TaniqWind Pro, we allow for export to HyperWorks via Shell and 3D models, and in this video, I will show both options. We will start with the Shell input file option. If we click the button, the HyperWorks Shell input file export panel opens. In this panel, we can see several panel sections: mesh parameters, material width, and plot result. In the mesh parameters section, we can set the mesh size, which is the desired width and length of the elements. The aspect ratio will stay as close to 1 as possible during computation of the mesh. With the start and end position, we can select the section of the product we would like to use for the export. In the material width section, we can see the widths of the used materials. We can use this information to set the mesh size. After computation, we can see the thickness plot. Within the plot result section, we can now select a layer we would like to see plotted. We can now export the mesh to a HyperWorks FEM input file. With HyperWorks Shell export, TaniqWind Pro only allows for non-axis symmetric definition or complete toe tracking. For these models, the HyperWorks drape function is used for creating the layup table, which decreases model import times. If we now move to the 3D export panel, we can export the design as a 3D orphan mesh. The 3D export panel also contains a mesh parameters section like the Shell export panel. In the 3D panel, we have a material thickness section instead of a material width section, which we can use for setting the mesh size. In TaniqWind Pro, we only support linear brick and linear wedge elements for the HyperWorks 3D export. In the symmetry options section, we can choose for symmetry along all 3 principal planes. We can also select multiple symmetry modes simultaneously. For the XY plane, the user must evaluate the design to see if symmetry along this plane is feasible. If there are non-symmetric paths in the design, the user will be warned with this non-symmetric path user message. With these symmetry options selected, we can see the part of the product which will be meshed and exported in the plot area. If we compute the mesh, we can see the 2D mesh which is used to create the 3D mesh. With the export button, we can export the model to a HyperWorks FEM input file. We can now open HyperWorks and import the made shell model. The created OptiStruct solver deck can be imported into HyperMesh using the Import Solver Deck option. The created mesh will be visible and can be shaded in using the element shading tool. If we select the material node in the model tree, we can see that the used material is exported as a Mat9 ore material card. All the relevant material properties set in the TaniqWind Pro material are set in the material card. TaniqWind Pro exports the geometry as a composite model with a ply-based definition. If we select the ply node in the model tree, we can see the created plies. Each ply has the appropriate element set and material card assigned. Now we can move into the Composites browser, where we can see that the created plies are stacked into a laminate. The conventional ply laminate type is used for the laminate stack. In the laminates node, we can see that the plies are defined using the wound product type, which is ideal for filament winding. The material orientation for each ply in the laminate is defined using a drape table and can be visualized by selecting ply orientation in the Review Orientation context menu. It should be noted that the helical layers have an orientation in both plus and minus alpha direction, while hoop layers only have a single material orientation. Thanks to TaniqWind Pro's toe tracking algorithm, the exported model is an exact replica of the designed product. Therefore, the plies only consist of those elements that have tape on them. This is the end of the HyperWorks FEA export demonstration video. In this video, I have shown you how you can generate a model in TaniqWind Pro and how this is imported into HyperWorks. If you're interested in other highlighted feature videos, these can be found at the Taniq YouTube channel.